chair empty, so let people sit down. Thank you. Let people sit down.
नमस्कार स्वामी वेदानंद जी महाराज, स्वामी आत्मरूपानंद जी महाराज, स्वामी ईशाध्यानानंद जी महाराज, स्वामी प्रसन्नात्मानंद जी महाराज, devotees and friends. We welcome you all today to this very special spiritual retreat celebrating Swami Vivekananda, organized by the Vedanta Society of Berkeley. We will begin today's retreat in the traditional way with the Vedic chanting by the revered Swamis present here.
Madhvirgamo bhava vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.
As we all know, the 4th of July is the American Independence Day. But it is also a very auspicious day for us devotees because the day held a special significance for Swami Vivekananda himself. In 4 of the years Swamiji spent in this country, being present in July, he celebrated the holiday with his companions and friends. But more notably, on this day in 1898 in Kashmir, just 4 years before his Mahasamadhi, Swamiji had insisted on observing and celebrating the American Independence Day. At that time, Swamiji had taken some of his close American and English followers, including Sister Nivedita, Josephine MacLeod, Mr. and Mrs. Sevier, and Mrs. Oli Bull, to live on a houseboat on the gorgeous Dal Lake in the valley of Kashmir. That day, Swamiji appeared before his disciples at the early morning breakfast and presented a poem that he had composed for the occasion titled To the 4th of July. He also celebrated by unfurling the American flag that he had earlier very secretly instructed an unskilled tailor to make. The poem is a heartfelt expression of a prophet, a great and reverential man. It starts in the dawn in which it was composed, with the victory of day over night, light over dark, and goes on in that victorious vein. But it is not battle victory, it is the triumph of ideas. As the poem goes, move on, O Lord, in thy resistless path, till thy high noon o'erspreads the world, till every land reflects thy light, till men and women with uplifted head behold their shackles broken, and know in springing joy their life renewed. Thus we mark this auspicious day by celebrating Swami Vivekananda. Now Swami Prasannatmananda will deliver his welcome address about this retreat.
I welcome all the Swamis came from various centers of this country. Swami Vedananda ji, Swami Atmarupananda ji, Swami Ishadhyanananda ji. And I welcome you all to this holy precinct of Vedanta Society Berkeley. You have already heard that this day is very auspicious day, and we are holding this spiritual retreat to renew ourselves. Why this spiritual retreat? We are organizing this very day. It is because this day is the day of freedom. For someone, it is the freedom of the independence. For someone, it is the freedom from the body. And someone, it is the freedom for the self. So this day is very connected with freedom. Each individual needs freedom. So this retreat, the theme of this retreat is freedom. And how can we get this freedom? The ancient seers of India, they suggested the ways. The yoga. And all these swamis present here, they are going to speak on this subject, the freedom, from the point of view of Raja Yoga, freedom from the point of view of Karma Yoga, freedom from the point of view of Jnana Yoga, and freedom from the point of view of Bhakti Yoga. But why is this retreat? What does it mean? How we can get the freedom? What is the trick of getting this freedom? The ancient rishis, they suggested you cannot find freedom in the outside world. If you can go inside within, then only you can get freedom. The great ancient scripture Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, both, they suggested in the verse, Indriyani Paranyahu. Indriya is the senses. We connect ourselves with this world through the senses. So our limitations are inside the senses. But there is para, paramyahu. Ahu means it is set. Para means greater. Indriya, Indriya means senses. So there are greater things than Indriya, than senses. What are these greater things? They suggested it is not the mind, not the intellect, but beyond that, they term it Atman, the self, the spirit. That is the para, that is the greatest thing that we have. The more we realize that, the more we feel ourselves free. So that is the purpose of this retreat, to go inside. If we can get everything what we desire from the outside, then there is no need to go inside. Those who are attending this spiritual retreat till now, can we all say that everything we get from outside? We are not. We cannot get everything what we want from outside. So there is a need to go inside. A man is fulfilled with the fulfillment of inside and outside. So this retreat is an opportunity to look back within. Try to go within, search within. So whole day we will practice to go within. The programs, the talks, which will be delivered from here, which will be sung from here, these are the aids. This will help you to go inside. we arrange some events here to help you to go within. The purpose is to go within. And these are only the stimulus that will help you. So try to practice this particular skill to go within whole day, and then what will happen? We can achieve the freedom. The goal is the freedom. The ways is to go within. So try to utilize this whole day. Likewise, every day we are talking in mobile, Facebook, Google, everything. Please try to come far from the wedding crowd and try to keep yourself here, be in the present moment, and try to utilize this way. Who knows? This one day can make a life different. Thank you. I welcome you again.
We will now have a flower offering ritual. You will be handed the flowers at your seat and repeat the mantra that Swamiji chants. After the mantra, the flower girls will come and collect the flowers from you.
So you will be delivered the volunteers. They will take flowers to your seat, and you will take one flower. I will chant the mantra. You will repeat the mantra, and then they will collect the flowers. So everyone will have these flowers. So anybody separately. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avadara Varisthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. Om Oim Esha Shachandana Pushpa Villa Patranjali Shangaya Shavaranayo Shakshuktikaya Shaparshadayo Sarva Devo Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namah. Om Niranjanam Nityam Ananta Rupam Bhaktanupampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Paramesha Mityam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasha Namami Janani Saradang Devi Ramakrishna Jagat Gurum Padapadme Tayo Sriktva Pranamami Muhur Muhu. Om Paratatte Sadalino Ramakrishna Samagmaya Yo Dharma Sthapana Rato Viresham Tam Namamyam. Now offer your pranam, and the volunteers will come to you and they will collect flowers.
Eminent singer Shumita Chakraborty will now perform a Sanskrit hymn which will lead directly into the meditation. can now meditate for 10 minutes. Our first speaker this morning is Swami Vedananda ji, who will present his talk, Spiritual Perspective of Freedom from Karma Yoga Point of View. Swami Vedananda is a senior monk of the Vedanta Society of Northern California in San Francisco. He is a disciple of Swami Ashokananda. Before taking his monastic vows in 1970, he earned a PhD in physics from UC Berkeley. He is well known and well respected for his contribution to interfaith dialogues and for guiding students in Vedantic philosophy and religion. Since 2005, he has been leading a discussion group at Stanford University for the study of Vedanta philosophy and the Sanskrit language. The Swami has helped seekers of various faith traditions in spiritual practice and renewal over the years.
Now, as far as karma yoga is concerned, the subject is spiritual perspective of freedom from the point of view of karma yoga. Really, it's good that this subject be taken first, because really that is the central aspect of yoga as far as the practical aspect is concerned. How do we live our life? Our life basically consists of karma. We would like to think that we do these other things, path of devotion and path of meditation, path of philosophy, that all of these things are crucial to us. But the real heart of the matter is how we live our life. How we, because most of our time is spent earning a living, or raising our children, or dealing with our families, dealing with the society, dealing with our social obligations. The whole of life basically is devoted to that. Maybe for a little while we're able to meditate. In the evening we sit in quiet in the mind, try to absorb it in meditation. And then at special times during the day, or perhaps on special occasions, we emphasize the worship of God and devotional practices. All these things are, we try to make a part of our life. But the thing where really our life hangs on, in a practical sense, is karma. How do we deal with this world? How do we deal with our obligations to others, our obligations to our own selves, our obligations to our families, our obligations to society? One statement has been made is that the whole of life is a conjugation of the verb to do. I will do, I am doing, I have done. That basically is our life. So it becomes very crucial to try to spiritualize this. Spiritualizing everyday life. There was one of our Swamis gave a well-known talk on that subject. How to spiritualize everyday life. Why do we want to spiritualize life to begin with? If this life were sufficient unto itself, if the results that we obtain here were satisfactory, we wouldn't, probably this subject would not be very important. But the universal experience is what we feel here, what we experience here, the results in this life are far from what we really internally feel ought to be the result of a lifetime of work. So it becomes crucial to be able to insert something fundamental, something not of time, something of eternity, something which does not come into existence now and disappears later. Our real satisfaction in life comes from not that which is passing. We may get certain consolations from momentary joys or momentary developments that give us great satisfaction. But really, we see that ultimately all the things that give satisfaction here will slip away from us. Ultimately, we majestically march off the stage of this world. This is where we're inevitably headed, and even though we try to forget that aspect, this is what is in our minds all the time, even though it may be at the background, even though it may be a still small voice. The question is there anything here which lasts? Is there some way to deal with this world in such a way that we obtain something which does not decay? This was the basic question of Nachiketa in the Kathopanishad. That was the only question he had. Some people, after a person has passed away, some people say something remains, he remains. Others say, no, there's nothing. So how to deal with this life, with our experience in this life, how to act properly so that something remains to us when we come to the end of our existence. At some point we will not be able to do anything anymore. That is quite clear. So how is it now that we're able to exert energy, now that we're able to strive, now that we're able to direct our efforts, what way should we direct ourselves to achieve something which does not decay, something which is eternal? Now the basic thing is, if it is eternal, that means it's nothing that we can achieve. It must be something we already have. So the very goal that we want to act in this life, to develop something which will not decay, the very fact that we have that thought means that there is such a thing. If it were totally impossible, that thought would not have lasted. It might come and go, but if that something is totally impossible, it will not last for generations and for hundreds and thousands of years as a goal for humanity. That one should act in such a way that one develops something within us which does not decay, which does not give way, which does not disappear. The very fact that that urge has been with us, has been with humanity for untold centuries, shows that there must be such a thing. And great sages and saints have discovered it, and they have left words of how they have accomplished it, and they have left a trail, a track, so that we can also achieve something in our life which does not disappear, which does not decay, which is full of satisfaction, which grants total satisfaction. So the scriptures have been written, different advice has been given as to how to achieve that. And then all the yogas are methods, they're all paths for achieving that. Karma yoga emphasizes that aspect, that there is a method for achieving that which does not decay. And the first thing that one has to remember is that in order to, if there is such a thing which does not decay, it cannot have anything to do with the body, because the body does decay. Everybody knows that. The body is born, grows, and disappears. So we have to develop, one of the key things that we have to develop is the idea of selflessness. That the body and the things that are related to the body are required for this world, for the maintenance of our existence. They're essential for us. We have to take care of that. This is like an instrument we're being given, and we have to take care of it to manage it. But the body itself is not the goal of what we're looking for. So whatever in our life has to do with selfishness, our tendency to grasp things and center them around our own personality, the tendency to grab onto things and let other people not have them. Those things, selflessness, that is one of the main things that has to be cultivated. Not I, but thou. Not I, but thou. Point is, the I that you're talking about, when you say I, you see the body, you see the mind. You don't see this entity within which does not decay. So the first thing to do is to emphasize that and to de-emphasize those things which decay, which change. So selflessness, great selflessness, is one of the prime methods. Doing things for others, feeling the needs of others, feeling the pain of others, feeling the pain, the dissatisfaction, the causes for misery of others, and trying to do something about them. The whole thing is to de-emphasize this body and this mind. And what happens when you do that? You begin to feel a kinship there. You begin to feel that there is a kinship between us and between our own selves and everyone else. There's a feeling of universality that grows. And this feeling of universality, of infinity, of an expanding presence, an expanding reality, comes about by putting less emphasis on our own selves, trying to be helpful to others, trying to see the reality within others. That is on the surface. But when you look at others, what do you see? Normally you just see there's a body there and there's a mind there. Another aspect is when one sees others, one should see that there's not only a body and a mind, there is a reality within. There's a reality within which is the core of their personality. It is also the core of our personality. So when we go about this world, when we deal with this world, we should feel the reality that there is something beyond the physical and beyond the mental. we should deal with people on the basis of their having an eternal core, an eternal reality. All of this, of course, shades into Jnana Yoga, it shades into Bhakti Yoga, and to some extent it shades into Raja Yoga, all the 4 yogas. If you try to put them all into compartments, that will not be totally achievable. They're all of them play a role, though one of them may be emphasized. In Karma Yoga, what we emphasize is action. We deal with this world. But the point is, this world has to be seen not as what it appears to be. If you simply look at this world as a physical reality or even an intellectual reality, nothing profound will happen. One has to see that behind this world there is something which does not disappear. How can we look for something within us which does not die unless we admit that such a thing exists? Not only exists, if it only exists within ourselves, that has a certain significance. But inevitably we must say that if there's something within myself which does not die, which does not decay, and that I can actually get in touch with that, I can actually discover that, I cannot deny that reality being present elsewhere also. If I'm the only thing here that is eternal, then the question is, what is all this that I perceive? What is all this reality? This reality comes and goes, and I don't come and go. That reality also cannot disappear. So we have to see the presence of something infinite, something permanent, something extremely holy in every person, in every being. When we look at a person, what do we see? We look into their eyes. What do we actually see? They say that if you look into a person's eyes, you can actually see the self, the reality, the internal, the infinite and the eternal. That is the real essence of the person you're looking at. If we want to find the infinite and the eternal within ourselves, we cannot deny it within others. Not only within other beings, every perception has to be filled with that. So when I deal with everything in this world, I have to deal with it not as simply a physical reality or an intellectual understanding, a mental concept. I have to deal with everything in this universe as having an infinite core, an infinite reality. Pratibodha viditam, in every perception, I should see that infinite, that eternal. That is karma yoga. Whatever I do, whatever I think, whatever I deal with, I must deal with it as though, not in terms of its physical aspect only, not in terms of its mental or intellectual aspect only. Whatever I deal with in this world, whatever karma I undertake, I'm dealing with a spiritual entity. I'm dealing with something which does not decay. I have to realize that this whole world is filled with an infinity, with an essence which does not disappear, which was never created. That this essence is within myself and it's within everyone else. I should deal with people not as they appear to be physically and intellectually, but as they really are, as spirit, as infinite, as eternal. So when I deal with the world in that way, then my whole attitude to the world changes. My whole reality reaction to the results I get from the world changes. I'm dealing with God, I'm dealing with the infinite, with the eternal in every action. That is the goal of Karma Yoga, that one should see that which does not decay in that which appears only on the surface, appears to decay. Okay.
This inspirational talk is now going to be followed by chorus performances. Making an offering is an important aspect of performing rituals, and our first musical offering today will be of the Sri Ramakrishna Stotram, Brahma Rupam Adi Madhya and Achandala. The chorus songs will be led by Shumita Chakraborty. Shumita ji is an accomplished vocalist in the Bay Area. She was initiated into Hindustani classical music by her father, Sri Vireshwar Datto, and later received training in the tradition of Gwalior Gharana from the eminent Pandit Shankar Shripad Bodas. She received a doctorate in music in 1987 from Benares Hindu University. She has performed in several Indian cities as well as in the US and Canada. In 2001, she founded the Suranjali School of Music in the Bay Area, and since then has combined the role of a teacher and a performer of Hindustani music with remarkable success. The chorus singers today are Karuna, Tanuja, Reshmi, Sahana, Indira, Gangadhar, Shomo, Chitto, Proshun, and Mohan. The performance will be accompanied by Rahul Joshi on the tabla. The first performance is Brahma Rupam Adi Madhya. This was written by Swami Vivekananda, a disciple of Holy Mother, a sannyasi disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and the 6th president of the Ramakrishna order. The song is composed in the Tunaka mantra. This 10-verse hymn unfolds the glory of Sri Ramakrishna. One who reads this every day overcomes all dangers. Japa, yagna, yoga, and bhoga, all such things may be easily attainable sometime or the other. But a deep attachment for and devotion to Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna is a rare achievement. that we just sang, Achandala, it's a song that was dedicated to Sri Ramakrishna and composed by Swami Vivekananda in 1898, around the same time that he composed Khandana Bhava and Om Hrim Ritam. In this song, Swamiji says, "He who was Sri Rama, whose stream of love flowed with resistless might even to the Chandala, the outcast. He who quelled the noise, terrible like that at the time of destruction, arising from the battle of Kurukshetra, who destroyed the terrible yet natural like night of ignorance, and who roared out the Gita, sweet and appeasing. That renewed soul is now born as Sri Ramakrishna." The song that we'll now sing is Brahma Rupam Adi Madhya, and this was written by Swami Virajananda. It was composed in the Tunaka mantra. This 10-versed hymn unfolds the glory of Sri Ramakrishna. The musical offering will now be followed by a recitation by Mohan. Mohan will recite the song of the Sannyasin, which is a poem of 13 verses written by Swami Vivekananda. He composed the poem in July of 1895 when he was delivering a series of lectures to a group of disciples at the Thousand Island Park in New York. In these 13 verses, Swamiji discusses the concepts, beliefs, and ideals of sannyasa or monastic life. The Song of the Sannyasin has also been referred to as the Bible of Bengal because it acts as inspiration, solace, and guidance for Hindu monks, especially the monks of the Ramakrishna order.
Good morning, everyone. In the beginning of 1895, American disciples Swami Vivekananda requested him to organize a special session of lectures throughout the summer. Even though Swamiji was very tired at this time, after multiple long sessions of public and private lectures, he assented. From mid-June to early August of 1895, Swamiji delivered a series of lectures to a group of selected disciples at the Thousand Island Park in New York. Currently in the San Jose Center, our very own Swamiji hosts a class on Sunday evenings. In this period of 1895, sometime in July, Swamiji wrote the Song of the Sannyasin. The Song of the Sannyasin is a poem of 13 verses. In the poem, he defines the fundamental ideals of sannyasa, monastic life. The following is an excerpt of those 13 verses. Wake up the note, the song that had its birth far off, where worldly taint could never reach. In mountain caves and glades of forest deep, whose calm no sigh for lust or wealth or fame could ever dare to break. Where rolled the stream of knowledge, truth, and bliss follows both. Sing high that note, Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. Strike off thy fetters, bond that bind thee down, of shining gold, or darker, baser ore. Love and hate, good and bad, and all the dual throng. Know that a slave is a slave, caressed or whipped, just not free. For fetters, though of gold, are not less strong to bind. Then off with them. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. Let darkness go, the will of the wisp that leads with blinking light to pile more gloom on top of gloom. This thirst for life, forever quench, it drags from birth to death and death to birth. The soul conquers all who conquer self. Know this and never yield. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. There is but one, the free, the knower, thyself, without a name, without a form, without a stain. In him is Maya, dreaming all this dreaming. The witness, he appears as nature, as a soul. Know thou art. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. Say peace to all. From me no danger be to aught that lives. In those that dwell on high, in those that dwell on lowly creeps. I am the self in all life, both here and there, do I renounce. All heavens and earths and hells, all hopes and fears. Cut this bond. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. Truth. Truth never comes where lust and fame and greed of gain reside. No man who thinks of women as his wife can ever be perfect, nor he who owns the least of things, nor he whom anger chains. So give these up. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. Few only know the truth. The rest will hate and laugh at the great one. But pay no heed. Go thou, the free, from place to place, and help them out of darkness. Without the fear of pain or search for pleasure. Go beyond them both. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om. Thus, day by day, till karma's power spent, release the soul forever. No more is birth, nor I, nor thou, nor God, nor man. The I has become all. The all is I and bliss. Know thou art. Sannyasin, bold, say Om Tat Sat, Om.
Our second speaker today is Swami Ishadhyanananda ji, who will speak on spiritual perspective of freedom from yoga point of view. Swami Ishadhyanananda is the new assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Sacramento, who arrived at the center in August 2017. Before coming to the US, Swami Ishadhyanananda served as the treasurer of the Jamshedpur branch of Ramakrishna Mission from 2013 to 2017. Prior to that, he had been posted at the headquarters office in Belur Mott. Swami Ishadhyanananda joined the Ramakrishna order in 2002 after completing his MSc. He was initiated by Swami Atmarupananda, the 15th president of the Ramakrishna order, and received his final monastic vows from him in 2012.
Freedom according to yoga. Here yoga means Raja Yoga. The yoga which is the spiritual tradition which is based on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Like all spiritual traditions of India, Yoga Sutras of Patanjali or yoga tradition also has the one goal, which is happiness. In Sanskrit it is called Atmantika Dukkha Nivritti Parama Sukha Prapti, complete cessation of all sufferings and attainment of the highest bliss. So what is happiness according to yoga? If we see in our lives, among us, who is happier? One who is not too much dependent on things outside or people outside, because we have no control over things and people outside. So he or she is more happy who can be happy in himself or herself. This is the goal of yoga, being free. Being free in yoga means being alone, being autonomous, being independence. And in yoga terms, it is called Kaivalya. Kevalasya bhava iti Kaivalya, being alone. What is this being alone? Yoga says there are two realities, two ultimate realities. One is consciousness, which they call Purusha, and matter, which they call Prakriti. So consciousness is ever free, witness, multiple, that means every living being has got one Purusha or conscious being attached to him or her, and consciousness can be either conscious of things presented to it or can be conscious of itself. This is Purusha. And the second reality is matter, Prakriti, which means all the things we see in the world, everything is matter, including our own body and most importantly, including our mind. So the dualism of yoga is not the dualism of Western philosophy, which says that there is a psyche and the world there. But yoga says even the mind, although very subtle, is also matter. If we compare our body with hardware of a PC and our mind with software, we need an operator or observer to operate the computer. The operator or observer is the Purusha, and the software, howsoever intelligent it be, it requires a conscious being. So what happens? Then comes the concept of Chitta Vritti. Chitta means in yoga mind, with all its functions of knowing, then the ego, sense of ego, everything they call by the generic term of Chitta. And associated with is Vritti. Vritti means any state of mind, our knowing, our cognition, our feeling, our desire. In short, whatever is the state of mind is Chitta Vritti. The term is very important in this sense. Vritti means occupation. As each of us need an occupation to sustain us, mind also needs vrittis or fluctuations or thoughts to sustain. Without these, mind cannot live. That is Chitta Vritti. So, mind is inert matter. It is illumined by the light or consciousness of Purusha. What happens is, whatever is presented to the Purusha through the mind, say I am seeing the microphone, what is happening according to yoga is, my chitta is going out through my senses, in this case my eyes, and taking the shape of this microphone. And it is taking the shape of the microphone and presenting it in front of the Purusha. And Purusha is knowing about this microphone. What happens is, Purusha misidentifies itself with the changing state of mind. This is the source of the trouble according to yoga. They say it ignorance or avidya, root of all troubles. We can better understand it with an analogy. Imagine there is a lake, there is a ripple in the lake and waves in the lake, and there is moon above. And the reflection of the moon is reflecting on the lake, in the lake. What is happening here? The moon, its reflection in the lake, which is undulating and has ripples and waves, the moon is thinking itself as it were, it was the changing lake itself. And on the other hand, the lake is thinking itself that it itself has the light. I am the light, I have the light. The light of moon, it is confusing itself that this light belongs to me. This is avidya or ignorance according to yoga. And since Purusha consciousness misidentifies itself with the changing state of mind, so whatever the state of the mind, whether mind is happy or sad, the Purusha thinks itself as sad, happy, angry, whatsoever. So what is the solution? According to yoga, the solution is to still the mind, quieten the mind. There comes the utility of meditation. As you know, second sutra of Patanjali, Yoga Sutras is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga means complete stilling the mind, complete cessation of all fluctuations of mind. Why? What is the need of stilling the mind? Because when the mind is stilled, Purusha or consciousness can be aware of itself. You remember? The nature of Purusha according to yoga is, it is either conscious of things presented to it, or it can be conscious of itself. So, the goal is to completely still the mind so that there is no vritti or fluctuations of mind, so that the consciousness or Purusha, or which is our real self, can be aware of itself. the method, the core principles or the core disciplines of yoga is therefore dharana, dhyana and samadhi. These are the three core. They call this antaranga sadhana. Dharana means focusing. When we try to focus our mind on an object, that object could be, according to Patanjali, anything. But he gives a hint that God or Ishvara is a best object of meditation. So when we are trying to focus our mind on an object, that is called dharana. When the concentration is full, perfect, that is called dhyana or concentration. But in concentration, there is still awareness that I am meditating. When that awareness even goes, then state of mind is called samadhi or absorption. This absorption, a state of samadhi, there is only one vritti, only one thought. Means there is only the object of consciousness in one's mind. And there are 4 stages of sampragyata samadhi. In its highest stage, the mind meditates on itself. And when it meditates on itself, then it comes to know that there are in fact 2 realities. One is Purusha, one is Prakriti. And then mind even gives up this single vritti or single thought. There is no thought. It is called asampragyata samadhi, complete stilling of the mind. When that happens, Purusha or consciousness is aware of only itself. Forcing the consciousness to be aware of only itself is the goal of yoga. And when that happens, Purusha abides in his true nature. In 3rd Sutra, it is said that Tada drashtuhu sarupe avasthanam. At that time, Purusha or weakness resides in his true nature, which is Kaivalya, alone, independence, freedom, autonomy, without depending on anything, without depending on the vrittis of the mind, thoughts of the mind, or anything material in the universe. And that is the goal of yoga. Let me summarize the goal of yoga with the analogy of software, hardware, and the operator. Suppose there is a person who has a PC and that has only one software, that is a browser. That is very possible nowadays, Chromebook. Okay? And his browser is open and there are multiple tabs open. Say Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, then other Wikipedia and all. Okay? So he is so engrossed, so absorbed in the computer, he has forgotten himself. He thinks himself what his Facebook profile is or Instagram. So he has forgotten to think himself. He is absorbed in the computer and the internet and the windows, the information he is looking into. Yoga means closing the tabs one by one until there is only one window open, and that window tells the observer, hey, what you are looking into is in fact a software, is a window, and you are not really this, you are something apart from this. This is called Viveka, knowledge of the difference between consciousness and matter. When that happens, the observer chooses to close down this software and uninstall the software altogether, so that there is nothing to be distracted about. This is asampragyata samadhi. And then the observer comes to know its true nature, and becomes free. That is freedom according to yoga.
Hello. We will follow this inspiring talk with a sitar recital. Neil Moliswaran will play Rag Irwani based on the teen tal on the sitar, and he will be accompanied by Shreyas Patel on the tabla. Neil Moliswaran is a student of Pandit Partha Chatterjee, and Shreyas Patel is a student of Pandit Abhijit Banerjee. I would also like to remind the audience, the devotees here, that there is a question and answer session at 3:30 this afternoon. So if you have any questions for the Swamis here, any questions related to the talks or spiritual life, please do not forget to submit your questions at the desk on the foyer outside during lunchtime. There is pen and paper for you to write down your questions. So if you have any questions, please submit them during lunchtime for the Swamis, and they'll take your questions during the question and answer session. Thank you.
which made him overnight hero of this country. So this is 25th year of that historic appearance. Thus, Vedanta Society Berkeley is planning to organize that event. Those who were here, perhaps you know that we have organized Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary throughout the year with different programs. And most of you perhaps attended that program in UC Berkeley, in the musical program of Pandit Jasaraji and Hariprasad Chaurasia, and then the Unitarian Church, where Swami Vivekananda delivered 8 lectures. So Vedanta Society Berkeley invites you to join the celebration of this historic occasion. The celebration will take place at the first Unitarian Church Oakland, from the same pulpit from where Swami Vivekananda delivered 8 lectures. His chair is also preserved there. So we will be organizing the program there on 8th September. Swami Vivekananda delivered a talk at the Parliament of Religions in 11th September. We are going to hold this program on 8th September because 11th September is not the weekend. So for the convenience of the devotees and people, we are going to hold this program on 8th September at 2 p.m. There will be several lectures presented by dignitaries and practitioners of different faiths, and lectures will be delivered from the same pulpit from where Swami Vivekananda had delivered 8 lectures. We hope you will join us and observe this very special event. Please note that 8th September we are going to hold Swami Vivekananda's 125th appearance. After that, he delivered his Parliament of Religions talks. So we are celebrating 125th anniversary of that. Shikha practice.
We also have a few announcements before lunch. The first one is there is a question answer session this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. So if you have any questions for the Swamis here, please submit them at the desk in the foyer. There is pen and paper for you to write the questions, and the Swamis will take your questions during the question answer session. Also, lunch will be served at the Swami Ishadhyanananda Hall, which is the newly constructed hall, and the access to the hall is through the garden, and the pathway to the hall is a little bit uneven, so please watch your steps as you make your way to the hall. And for those of you who are elderly and disabled, lunch will be served in the courtyard, so if you could please go to the courtyard and lunch will be served there. We will also promptly start at 2:15 p.m. after lunch, so we would request everyone to please make your way back to this hall by 2:15 p.m. when we'll start the afternoon program. Thank you and see you after lunch.